We have a system here that can control the amount of water pressure to our tooth with the pulp intact. Control the amount of water pressure to our tooth by raising or lowering our meniscus. So right now we're at 15, and now we're going to lower it down to 5. 15 is normal physiological pressure, and 5 is when a tooth is anesthetized with a vasoconstrictor. Our system includes a tooth that's been glued down with an 18 gauge needle coming up through the bottom into the pulp chamber, and then an 18 gauge needle coming out the side of the tooth where we can force air out of the system. And then once we have water dripping out of our tube, we clamp it off. Now we will next acid etch the dentin surface and record the moisture moving through dentin tubules onto the surface.
Okay, here we have a tooth where the dentin is covered by the smear layer. We're going to acid etch it with 37% phosphoric acid for 15 seconds to remove the smear layer. The pulp is intact and has not been removed. We wash and dry. Okay, in this green area we're looking for the leakage. The water pressure is set at 15 centimeters of water pressure, and we can barely see some glistening right now of the fluid coming out of the tubules. There we go, the air. You can see the air evaporated the moisture. The fluid is returning. We can barely see the fluid evaporating again. Now under the microscope at 20x we could not see the tooth leaking because of the light shining on the dentin, so we thought we had to etch the tooth another 15 seconds in order to remove the smear layer some more, but in actuality it was not necessary. So this is our second time of etching the dentin for 15 seconds with 37% phosphoric acid, and this second time around we'll be able to see better visibly the dentin leaking. Here we have the dentin leak packed at 15 centimeters of water pressure, much more easily visible. This is one reason why we do not want to over etch our dentin longer than 15 seconds. We can see it evaporating and disappearing. Okay, here we have the water pressure has been adjusted down to 5 centimeters, which is equivalent to a tooth that's anesthetized with an anesthetic that contains a vasoconstrictor. We can see the moisture passing through the dentin tubules, and now with a little air you can see the evaporation of that moisture, and that moisture returning with only 5 centimeters of water pressure. And we see the air evaporating it again.
That's probably the most, yeah, it's probably the pulp horns right
That was really good. Try that one more time. Go back to the
Okay.
scope for me, if you will. And
So do you think this is the most permeable area?
now. Right, if we did a cross-section on that, we would see the remaining dentin thickness is minimum there.